Have you ever wondered why so many people say that life changes more between 65 and 75 than at almost any other time? Most people assume the hardest years are when we're young, struggling to build careers, raise families, or pay bills. But countless older adults will tell you something surprising. The decade between 65 and 75 can be one of the most challenging periods of life. During these years, many people face changes they never expected. Their bodies don't respond the way they once did. Friends begin to disappear. Retirement doesn't always bring the happiness they imagined. Health concerns become more frequent, and loneliness can quietly creep into daily life. But here's the most important reason you need to watch until the end of this speech. The same decade that breaks some people is the exact decade that transforms others into the happiest, wisest, and most fulfilled version of themselves. The difference comes down to understanding what's happening and knowing how to respond before these challenges take control. Today we're going to uncover the 6 biggest reasons why ages 65 to 75 can be the hardest stage of croup, and how you can navigate this period with strength, purpose, and confidence. The first challenge is that your body starts changing faster than you expect. Many people enter their mid-60s feeling healthy and capable. They assume that if they continue living as they always have, nothing significant will change. Then suddenly they notice that climbing stairs requires more effort. Recovering from minor injuries takes longer. Energy levels fluctuate more than before. Balance isn't quite as reliable, and simple physical tasks can feel surprisingly demanding. What's difficult is that these changes often happen gradually. Day by day, they're barely noticeable. But over several years, the difference can be dramatic. Many seniors become frustrated because their minds still feel young while their bodies begin, setting new limits. This mismatch can create feelings of disappointment and even anger. However, understanding that these changes are natural allows people to adapt instead of surrendering. Regular movement, strength training, proper nutrition, and consistent activity can dramatically slow physical decline and preserve independence for years to come. The second challenge involves retirement. Society often portrays retirement as a permanent vacation filled with relaxation and freedom. While that sounds wonderful, reality is frequently more complicated. For decades, work provides structure, purpose, accomplishment, and social interaction. Then one day it stops. Many retirees discover that they haven't just lost a job, they've lost part of their identity. The question, "What do you do?" suddenly becomes difficult to answer. Days that once felt busy and meaningful can start feeling empty. Without a clear purpose, boredom and depression may begin to appear. The happiest retirees are rarely the ones who simply stop working. They are the ones who replace their old purpose with a new one. They volunteer, mentor younger people, develop hobbies, travel, learn new skills, or dedicate time to causes they care about. Purpose remains one of the strongest predictors of happiness regardless of age. The third challenge is one that few people talk about openly: loss. Between 65 and 75, many individuals experience the passing of close friends, siblings, neighbors, and sometimes even spouses. These are not casual relationships. These are people who shared decades of memories, milestones, struggles, and victories. Each loss carries emotional weight. It can make people feel isolated and remind them of their own mortality. Grief often arrives unexpectedly and stays longer than anticipated. Some people begin withdrawing from social activities because they fear future losses. Yet this period also teaches one of life's greatest lessons. Relationships matter more than possessions. The seniors who maintain strong connections with family, friends, community groups, and faith organizations tend to cope better with loss and enjoy greater emotional resilience. The fourth challenge is that health becomes a daily conversation. During younger years, health is often something people take for granted. Between 65 and 75, health starts demanding attention. Medical appointments become more frequent. Prescription medications may increase. Blood pressure, cholesterol, arthritis, diabetes, and other conditions become common topics of discussion. Many people feel overwhelmed by these changes. They worry about every symptom and fear every diagnosis. But focusing exclusively on illness can create unnecessary stress. The goal is not to become obsessed with health. The goal is to become proactive. Prevention, early detection, healthy habits, and consistent medical care can significantly improve quality of life and help seniors maintain independence much longer than they expect. The fifth challenge is loneliness. This may be one of the most dangerous yet overlooked threats facing older adults. Children often move away. Friends become less mobile. Social circles shrink. Opportunities for daily interaction decrease. Loneliness doesn't just affect emotions. Research consistently shows it can influence physical health, cognitive function, sleep quality, and overall longevity. Some experts even compare chronic loneliness to major health risks because of its powerful effects on the body and mind. The solution isn't necessarily having more people around. It's having meaningful connections. One genuine friendship can be more valuable than dozens of casual acquaintances. Staying involved in community activities, clubs, volunteer organizations, religious groups, and family events can provide the connection people need to thrive. The sixth, and perhaps most important challenge, is that this decade forces people to redefine what truly matters. Many of the goals that dominated earlier life stages no longer carry the same importance. Career achievements, financial milestones, and social status begin losing their power. Questions become deeper. What kind of legacy am I leaving behind? How do I want to spend the years I have left? What relationships deserve my attention? What brings me genuine joy? For some, these questions feel frightening. For others, they become incredibly liberating. The pressure to impress others fades. The desire for authenticity grows stronger. Many seniors discover a level of peace and wisdom they never experienced when they were sonned. Ironically, the hardest stage of life often becomes one of the most rewarding. The challenges are real, but so are the opportunities. The years between 65 and 75 can teach resilience, gratitude, perspective, and purpose in ways no other decade can. Those who understand these challenges are better prepared to face them. And those who face them with courage often discover that aging isn't simply about growing older. It's about growing wiser, stronger, and more intentional with every passing year. One of the biggest surprises people experience between the ages of 65 and 75 is how quickly their done bodies can begin to change. Many individuals enter this stage of life feeling relatively healthy and independent. They may still drive, travel, care for their homes, and enjoy activities they have done for decades. Because these abilities are still present, it is easy to assume they will remain unchanged for years to come. However, aging often accelerates during this decade in ways that can catch people off guard. Simple tasks that once required little effort may start feeling more demanding. Walking long distances, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, getting up from a chair, or maintaining balance on uneven ground can become noticeably harder. Recovery after physical activity may take longer, and small aches or injuries that once disappeared within days can linger for weeks. Energy levels may become less predictable, with some days feeling productive and strong, while others feel surprisingly exhausting. These physical changes can create emotional challenges as well. Many older adults feel frustrated because their minds remain active and ambitious, yet their bodies may not cooperate the way they once did. This gap between how young they feel mentally and what they can do physically can lead to disappointment, anxiety, or a loss of confidence. Some people begin avoiding activities they once loved because they fear falling, getting injured, or simply not keeping up with others. The good news is that physical decline is not entirely unavoidable. Research consistently shows that staying active can dramatically improve strength, balance, flexibility, and overall quality of life. Even modest daily exercise, regular walking, strength training, healthy nutrition, proper sleep, and routine medical care can help maintain independence and mobility. Those who remain physically engaged often preserve their abilities far longer than expected, and continue enjoying meaningful, active lives well into their later years. Retirement is often described as the reward for decades of hard work. Many people spend years dreaming about the day they can finally leave their job behind, wake up without an alarm clock, and enjoy complete freedom over how they spend their time. On the surface, it sounds like the perfect stage of life. Yet for many adults between the ages of 65 and 75, retirement becomes one of the most unexpected emotional challenges they ever face. For decades, work provides more than just a paycheck. It creates structure, routine, purpose, responsibility, and social interaction. A person's profession often becomes a major part of their identity. They are known as a teacher, engineer, nurse, business owner, manager, or skilled worker. Their days have clear goals, deadlines, and reasons to stay engaged. Then retirement arrives, and much of that structure disappears almost overnight. At first, the freedom can feel exciting. There is more time for relaxation, hobbies, travel, and family. But after the novelty fades, some retirees begin experiencing feelings they never anticipated. Days can start blending together. Without a clear purpose, boredom may appear. Some people feel disconnected from society or struggle with the loss of accomplishment that work once provided. Others miss the daily conversations and friendships that naturally occurred in the curd. This transition can also create questions about identity and self-worth. Many retirees wonder who they are now that they are no longer defined by their careers. The individuals who adapt most successfully are usually those who replace their former purpose with a new one. They volunteer, mentor younger generations, join community groups, learn new skills, pursue passions they previously postponed, or dedicate themselves to meaningful causes. Retirement is not simply about stopping work. It is about creating a new chapter filled with purpose, growth, connection, and personal time. Fulfillment that gives each day renewed meaning and direction. One of the most painful realities of life between the ages of 65 and 75 is experiencing the loss of friends, family members, neighbors, and lifelong companions. During earlier stages of life, most people rarely think about how much their relationships shape their happiness and sense of security. Loved ones seem like a permanent part of everyday life. Conversations, celebrations, shared memories, and familiar faces become so common that many people take them for granted. But as the years pass, this reality begins to change. For many older adults, this decade brings an increasing number of phone calls, hospital visits, funerals, and heartbreaking goodbyes. Friends they grew up with may pass away. Siblings who shared childhood memories may no longer be there. Longtime neighbors move away or experience serious health problems. In some cases, individuals face the devastating loss of a spouse after spending decades together. Each loss removes not only a person, but also a piece of personal history that can never be replaced. The emotional impact of these experiences can be profound. Grief often arrives in waves and can linger for months or even years. Some people begin feeling isolated because fewer people remain who truly understand their life story. Others become fearful of forming new relationships because they worry about future loss. It is common for older adults to experience loneliness, sadness, and a growing awareness of their own mortality during this stage of life. Despite the pain, many people discover important lessons through loss. They learn to appreciate the relationships that remain and become more intentional about spending time with loved ones. Small moments gain greater significance. Conversation, a family gathering, or a simple phone call can become deeply meaningful. Those who stay connected to family, friends, community groups, and social activities often develop stronger emotional resilience and find comfort in shared experiences, support, compassion, and the lasting bonds that continue to enrich their lives despite the challenges of loss. Between the ages of 65 and 75, health often becomes a central focus of daily life in a way that many people never anticipated. During younger years, most individuals think about health only when something goes wrong. They recover quickly from illness, rarely need regular medications, and generally assume their bodies will continue functioning as they always have. However, as people move into their later years, health can no longer be treated as an afterthought. It becomes something that requires attention, planning, and consistent care. Many older adults find themselves attending more medical appointments than ever before. Routine checkups, specialist visits, screenings, and laboratory tests become a regular part of life. Conditions such as high blood pressure, arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, hearing loss, vision problems, and reduced mobility become increasingly common. Even those who have been healthy for most of their lives may suddenly face unexpected diagnoses that require lifestyle adjustments and ongoing treatment. What makes this stage particularly challenging is the uncertainty that often accompanies health concerns. A minor symptom can cause significant worry. A routine medical test may create days or weeks of anxiety while waiting for results. Some individuals become fearful of losing their independence, while others worry about becoming a burden on their families. These emotional reactions can sometimes be just as difficult as the physical conditions themselves. At the same time, this decade offers an opportunity to take health more seriously than ever before. Many chronic conditions can be managed successfully when detected early and treated properly. Healthy eating, regular physical activity, quality sleep, stress management, social engagement, and adherence to medical advice can significantly improve quality of life. Individuals who view health as an investment rather than a limitation often experience greater confidence and independence. Instead of allowing medical challenges to control their future, they learn how to adapt, make informed decisions, and take proactive steps that help them remain active, capable, and engaged in the activities that bring meaning and enjoyment to their lives. Loneliness is one of the most overlooked challenges people face between the ages of 65 and 75, yet it can have a powerful impact on both physical and emotional well-being. Unlike a broken bone or a visible illness, loneliness often develops quietly. It does not announce itself all at once. Instead, it grows gradually as life circumstances change and social connections become less frequent. Many older adults are surprised by how quickly their social world can shrink during this stage of life. Children may move away to pursue careers or raise families of their own. Retirement can eliminate daily interactions with coworkers and friends. Health problems may make it harder to travel, attend events, or participate in activities that once provided enjoyment and connection. Some people lose spouses, siblings, or close friends, leaving empty spaces that are difficult to fill. Over time, these changes can create a sense of isolation, even for individuals who are surrounded by other people. The effects of loneliness extend far beyond feelings of sadness. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness can influence mental health, increase stress, affect sleep quality, and contribute to anxiety and depression. It can also reduce motivation to stay active, eat well, or engage in healthy habits. When people feel disconnected from others, they may begin withdrawing even further, creating a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to break. Fortunately, loneliness is not an unavoidable part of aging. Meaningful connections can be built and maintained at any age. Joining community groups, volunteering, attending religious services, participating in hobby clubs, taking classes, or simply reaching out to friends and family can make a tremendous difference. Even small interactions can help people feel valued and connected. The quality of relationships often matters far more than the quantity. A few genuine friendships can provide comfort, encouragement, and a sense of belonging that greatly enhances overall well-being. Those who actively nurture social connections often discover that their later years become richer, happier, and more fulfilling despite the challenges that naturally accompany aging process. Perhaps the most important reason the years between 65 and 75 can be so challenging is that this stage of life forces people to redefine what truly matters. For decades, many individuals spend their time pursuing goals related to careers, financial success, social status, raising families, and meeting responsibilities. Life is often filled with deadlines, obligations, and constant movement. There is little time to stop and reflect because the demands of daily life keep pushing people forward. But during this decade, many of those responsibilities begin to fade, creating an opportunity that can feel both uncomfortable and transformative. As people age, they often realize that some of the things they once considered important no longer bring the same satisfaction. Achievements that once seemed essential may lose their significance. Material possessions become less meaningful. The desire to impress others starts to fade. Instead, deeper questions begin to emerge. People find themselves thinking about how they have lived, what impact they have made, and what kind of legacy they want to leave behind. They reflect on relationships, personal values, and the experiences that brought genuine happiness throughout their lives. For some individuals, this period of reflection can be difficult. It may bring regrets about missed opportunities, damaged relationships, or goals that were never achieved. Looking back on life can sometimes create feelings of sadness or disappointment. However, it can also provide a powerful chance for growth and healing. Many older adults discover that they still have the ability to strengthen relationships, learn new skills, help others, and create meaningful experiences. This decade often teaches lessons that cannot be learned earlier in life. Gratitude becomes more important than achievement. Purpose becomes more valuable than status. Time becomes more precious than money. People begin focusing on what truly enriches their lives rather than what simply keeps them busy. Those who embrace this shift often experience a deeper sense of peace, wisdom, and fulfillment. Rather than viewing aging as a period of decline, they learn to see it as an opportunity to live more intentionally, appreciate each day more fully, and focus on the things that matter most. Here's the final conclusion for your speech. As we come to the end of this discussion, it's important to remember that the years between 65 and 75 are not difficult simply because people grow older. They are challenging because this decade brings major changes all at once. Physical strength may decline, retirement can create a loss of purpose, loved ones may be lost, health concerns become more common, loneliness can quietly appear, and life begins asking deeper questions about meaning and legacy. These experiences can feel overwhelming, but they are also opportunities for growth. The truth is that this stage of life is not just about what is being lost. It's also about what can still be gained. Wisdom, perspective, gratitude, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for life's simple moments often emerge during these years. Those who stay active, maintain strong relationships, care for their health, and continue pursuing purpose often discover that some of the most rewarding years of life are still ahead of them. If you are between 65 and 75, or approaching this stage, do not view it as the beginning of the end. View it as a powerful transition. Every challenge discussed today can be faced with preparation, determination, and the right mindset. Your age does not define your future. Your daily choices do. The people who thrive during this decade are not necessarily the healthiest, wealthiest, or luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to stop growing, learning, connecting, and finding purpose. Remember, life is not measured by how many years you have lived, but by how much meaning, joy, and impact you create during those years. And for many people, the most meaningful chapter of their story is still being written between the ages of 65 and 75.